Welcome back to Comic Shop Talk. We're talking today about Magic the Gathering. Yeah, it's not comics. We talked about diversification plenty of times. It's going to be about running a comic shop and how to make profit on other items that come through your store. You'll find when you open your comic shop that people are going to bring you all kinds of collectibles. When we first opened, I had 10 or 15 kids that would come almost every day and like, oh, can we play Magic in the store? And I was like, what is that? So I got my lesson in what Magic was and saw that there was a big community where I opened up. And so I started buying Magic boxes, and then I went directly to my distributor. And then through the distributor, we're going to show you all the different distributors in the country that carry Magic and that you can sign up to be a Magic retail store. And that's how you get in. You don't go to the website and sign up. You actually go to your distributor and sign up to be a Magic dealer. And then to run events. And then there's another page to set up to run the events. Because you can sell Magic and not run events. So that's quite possible also. You won't get product right away on release, but you will be able to buy product. So this is a lot of the Magic product here. We have sealed stuff, they have pre-built decks, they have packs, and they come out every 2 to 3 months. The last 2 years, they've kind of been beating us to death a little bit too often. You kind of really have to learn how to gauge what you're buying. I always sell out, but it's still a very large purchase and can be, I've seen stores go out of business by overbuying trading card games, right? So the great thing about this is that when you build a community, we have a big play space and we run tournaments, you can buy their bulk cards. And we have a huge library. Yes, that's how we say it. About 1.5 million cards of commons and uncommons for people building decks. So what that does is it creates your store as a destination, and people come from a long distance to get cards that they couldn't get otherwise. Yes, they can buy them online, but when they're building an entire deck, sometimes they like to go through the cards. They want a different art than they could get online, or they also like to come and mill in the community. And then also we have 50,000 rare cards on the kiosk, which we've talked about several times from TCG Player. We have a kiosk and it has all of our trading card games on it. And then we keep all the cards here in the glass case that are in the meta. There's different card games. We can put up a screenshot or something of the different formats and what they are, rather than explain them all, but there is several. The formats: Legacy, Modern, Vintage, Pioneer, Commander, Standard. We don't have a lot of community for Standard right now. We basically are Commander and Modern. So that's what we have, the meta in the glass case, so people can see the cards that they readily need building decks that are for those formats. Once we became a dealer, we started running tournaments, and they call it Friday Night Magic. So every Friday night, we run a particular format for that Friday night. In the back of the store, we have tables, and that's where they play. They each pay $5 a piece, and they get that back in credit. So the top 4 will get a certain amount, and then the next 4, basically down to the top 8. Of course, first place gets the most money. It's just like any other thing, and they don't get it in cash, so it's not gambling. They get it in trade. We make a very little bit of money on it because, I mean, we're not giving cash back, but we are going to give the exact value back in trade. So it's not like when you trade in a card and they're only going to get 50% for it. This, they're getting the full amount. So if they won $30, they can buy anything that's $30. So that just adds, means we're moving product through tournaments. It's not an extra money. Now, some people have worked out where they're actually making money on the tournaments. We don't have that type of community. I also think that that's not great, because it is a community business and you can sour people if they don't win. Like $5 is cheap enough if, it's entertainment, right? So $5 to play for 4 to 6 hours with all your buddies and meeting new people, $5 is kind of worth it, right? And then whether you win or you lose, it's okay. But when you start charging $10, $15, $20, it's still enjoyment, but is the value there if you're going to lose every time you come out? There's always winners and losers in competition. And Magic is basically, I don't want to say basically, but it's pretty close to pay to win. You can buy the most expensive, best deck. A really good player can beat you with a lesser deck, but for the most part, you'll win a lot with a really great deck, which is good for us. So if people are buying the most expensive decks, we're selling more expensive cards, higher profit margin. So how do you get into this? Well, I'm going to show you. So this is how you sign up to be a retail store for Magic the Gathering. You go to wpn.wizards.com/en for English/distributors. This will list all the distributors. If you don't currently have any of these distributors, you'll have to sign up for one of them. It's a great list of also people that carry stuff you may want to carry in your store. So it's a good idea if you have something near your area to sign up with one of these distributors. So here's the list. Alliance, Diamond. Alliance, you know, is a subsidiary of Diamond. We have GTS, multiple locations for GTS, so something can be close to you. They even have, they're the only one in Hawaii. You have, almost all of them have a spot in New York. Magazine Exchange, we use because they seem to have stuff later than other companies. Then Peachtree, I'm sorry, I always call Peachtree, it's Peach State, or PhD, have a lot of, throughout the country, they have a lot of locations. We use Southern Hobbies, it's a one-day ship from New York, but they also have them across the country. So you just go to one of these, they have links, you can then go to their website and contact them and let them know that you'd like to sign up to be a seller of Magic, and they'll work out what you have to do. You know, you're gonna have to have your tax ID, you're gonna have to have, if you have corporation information, you're gonna need that. A lot of them want like an electric bill in the name of the business. You know, different things, different companies ask for different items. They might want to see your credit if you want to get credit. I don't run on credit. I think credit's the fastest thing to put you out of business. After that's done, you go through to whoever you want to try. I suggest to sign up to as many distributors as possible. It doesn't cost you anything to be part of these distributors. You might go on that site and they might have something you want, or the one that distributor, the one that you're preferenced to, the one you like the best, may not have what you want, and you go to the other one and they'll still have it in stock. Now, how to apply for WPN, that's running the tournaments. So that's at wpn.wizards.com/en/how-apply-WPN. Hopefully we can somehow put these in the comments below. If you have any questions about how to do any of this stuff, you know, you can just put the message in there. I'm always watching to see if we have any comments, and you can just put it right in the comments, any questions. So it goes through, when you go to this webpage, it goes through the whole process, the application process, the ownership verification process, a video walkthrough. Like a lot of these places are doing that now. We just signed up to do Lorcana, which is the new Disney game coming out, which if you're interested in doing something like that, I would get on it immediately. You're probably either out of time or running out of time very quickly. But so you have to have a video walkthrough of your store, your outside signage, your play space, your bathroom. You know, they're going to want to make sure that you have facilities for people with disabilities. So there's a lot. If you want to be a premium store, there's a lot more, even a lot more to do. They want to see, you know, your furniture, your walls, your glass cases, all your fixtures, that it's safe and clean. Then they have a WPN orientation program. It goes through, it's a very good website, one page. It's a pretty lengthy page, but just the one page to go through the orientation requirements, depending on where you're at, any missing requirements, and to learn more, there's articles, resources, and then if you're ready to apply, it has a join us. I'm just going to click that right here, and it'll bring you right to the application process. Click where you're from. Hey, we got some people watching from Brazil. You have Brazil, Europe, or actually it's all of South America, not just Brazil, but I do see a lot of Brazil people watching some of these shows. Australia, I know I have an Australia viewer out there. And then of course I'm in North America, so I would hit North America. And then it goes through your WPN overview, metrics and allocations. This is really important because when you first start out, you're not going to be able to get as much as somebody who has a big community that supports them strong. And you know, if I have a WPN event and I have 80 people at it, and I can only get 60 pre-release kits, then it's difficult for me to give what I need to my community. So what they do is, as you run events, as you keep, you know, consistently breaking the number, they'll enlarge your allocation because they want to satisfy the customers in that area. You have support and resources, which is really good. The different programs they have, how to get promotional materials, and the policies to be able to continue to run your events. So just under metrics and allocations, they have questions which are clickable about the metrics and allocations. They have the metrics side, the allocation sides, how our promo cards allocated, how our product allocations determined, how can I update my preferred distributor. That's all the different ways, you know, all the different things you're going to need to know if you're doing this. It seems like it's very complicated. It's not. Listen, I have a second job, and I have had a lot of partners through the years helping out with a lot of these things. But once you get it up and running, it's a little bit of pain getting up and running. But once you are up and running, very smooth. Very smooth, and you can go back, and these things are updated, and you can find out different information all the time. You can just go back, and then you can see that they have the different programs they have about pre-release, and then other programs like what is a store championship, what is a launch party, what is buy a box, what is a commander party. So there's a lot of different programs that they have that you can use to entice more community to come to your store. You know, if you're just running standard, you're missing out on the commander community. And they are separate. Some guys play all the formats, but most people find a format that they're very comfortable with, and they play that. I'm actually thinking about starting a kitchen table program where, I mean, there's a lot of guys that get together at somebody's house and play. And then, you know, sometimes that's difficult because, you know, something's going on at the house you usually go to, or that one guy who usually is the host can't play this week, but all the other guys want to play. And basically we have that, it's called free play. But I want to give something to them for coming down and hanging out at the shop. So I'm trying to figure out either some kind of mystery pack or something to give out. But always be thinking about how to do your own programs and your own promotions. Now, the overview gives you general information and joining the WPN. You can go back to what is required to join the WPN, and if you're online or retail only, if you're eligible or not, you can ask that question. You can't. It's the play. Like, it probably goes into you know, if you create a play space, and then, you know, that you could probably run them. But if you're solely online, you have no place to play, so you wouldn't be running events. So, and it answers all the questions that you would have. It's a really good website. There's a lot of complaints about Wizards of the Coast right now about how they are raising the prices of product and the print numbers and so on and so forth, and the manufactured scarcity. There's a lot of things. There's always drama in collectibles. In every single collectible, there's some type of drama. But as far as how the company runs their website and how they join and how they reach distributors, I'm very, very happy with them, and I support them pretty strongly. This is pretty much everything is right on this website. Again, To find out your distributors, it's wpn.wizards.com, /en/distributors, and then the WPN to how to join is wpn.wizards.com/en/news/how-apply-WPN. And go ahead, start some tournaments, get the community at your shop, make some money. See how simple it is to sign up? It's really easy, and you can get started like in less than a couple of weeks. We've talked about this before, and it's about the profit margins in Magic the Gathering. The profit margins can be tremendous. So on sealed, and we've shown the sealed items is around 30%, and you know what I say, 30%'s not really 30%. We're buying at a 30% margin, which means that it's about a 8 to 12% margin. Now, sometimes sealed product can go insane. The Lord of the Rings, the one ring that everybody was looking for, the sealed product kept going up until the ring was found, and then it came back. So we probably did 20 to 30% margin, true margin on that sealed product when it went up. But mostly the sealed product is for the constant regular sales and to draw people into the store, as well as the tournaments. That is all the draw, so that you can sell the singles. The profit margin in the singles can be astronomical. We have a card here that we bought for $200 back in the day, Library of Alexandria. That card we bought for $200, like I said, and it is now $2,200. And I don't think I'd take $2,500, because at its peak it was $8 grand. So they do go up and down. When cards start coming onto the market, when the price really blows up, a lot of cards start getting sold that have been in collections, and you don't know how many there are until the price goes crazy, and then they all start flooding out, which brought the price down, but still $2 grand. So, that's somewhere around 10,000% profit from what we bought it for. But it's something I would rather hold on to than try to sell and to reinvest that money. I'm not going to be finding too many of those at $200. But so that's like money in the bank, unless the market completely crashes. That's, collectibles. If you're in the collectibles game, you're at risk anyway, right? All this is risk. It all can go to zero tomorrow, and I can get a crying towel out. That's about it. It's riskier than the stock market, but it can be a lot better than the stock market. Just check any of these collectibles, what they were at 5 years ago and what they are now. They outpace the stock market insanely. It's something like a 400 or 500% over the stock market. And when I talk about buying collections, I don't buy single cards. One of the exceptions is Magic. So we will buy single cards that are in the meta at our 40%, because we know we'll sell it within that week. A lot of other items, if people are trying to sell us stuff that's outside the meta, which there is a lot of stuff in Magic that's outside the meta, that is just a collectible, then I won't buy singles. I want to buy the collection. Even if there are, if they want to sell just the meta out of the collection, I don't like to cherry pick. If you're going to sell the collection anyway, I'll buy the whole thing. We buy commons at $1 per 1,000. We now are running a special where we're doing $2.50 1,000, and we're giving $5 in trade per 1,000. Just because we want to grow our stock again. It is starting to shrink a little bit, and we want to expand it again. It also gives us, something to dig through and find some hidden gems in collections. Now, along with being able to sell the Magic and to be able to sell the singles and the sealed, we also have a lot of supplies that go with Magic. So this gives you a lot of extra SKUs. Supplies are usually, if you're doing it right, you're making a 50% profit on supplies. Everybody pretty much keeps it at the same rate. This is just under 50%. So like this is when you're getting low end, like your low end option. This is a low end box for a commander deck, and we sell that for $5. Probably costs us around $3. Not 50%, but it's the low end option, so you don't want to run it at $6.99 or something like that. Now you have the higher end option are like these boulder and trays. So this allows you to hold your dice, which that also gives you an option to sell a lot of dice. And it also allows you to handle your cards. It's a lot nicer finish. It's a lot better look for the whole thing. And this is $25. This is probably not quite 50%, but closer to 50% than the low option. And then again, so then they put their better cards, you know, just like your Pokemon buyers and your Yu-Gi-Oh buyers, they get these albums, card folios. They got a lot of different names for them. This is Zip Folio from Ultimate Guard. This is a $45 option. We're just below 50% on this. Zipper folder, really nice, 24 pocket, what they call it, they have an invention called Xeno Skin, which is a really nice fabric. It's probably some type of nylon. And then you have like a plastic cover. This is from Iron Guard, which is Diamond's subsidiary company that you can buy through your comic distributor. And we sell these at $10. So this only has 20 pockets, this has 24 pockets. They're all sewn in sleeves, so you don't have that metal bar. We really recommend these for your collectors, so you don't damage your cards. But you have a lot of supply options, and like we're talking about, the regular cards, you know, 8 to 12% on the sealed. Your supplies, which they're going to buy just about as much of, are going to be in the near 50% profit margin. Sometimes you can get them on deal when they're closing them out because they're changing the model or they're changing something about it. They're doing a closeout, and you could make 60 to 75% if you're buying right. You always got to be watching those closeouts because these don't spoil, right? They're not going to make some innovation that are going to make these obsolete. So if they're changing the model and they're dumping their old models, pick them up. Get as many as you can that you can afford. They'll sell over time, and it'll keep you from having to buy a lot more. There's also sleeves, and there are a multitude of sleeves. There's low-end sleeves that start at about $7 a pack of 100, and we go all the way up to about $14. We only carry the ones up to about $14. There are ones out there that are ridiculous. Now we also have lots of dice. They use the dice as counters. We buy Chesics, but there are a lot of dice options out there. When people aren't rolling them and they're using them as counters, you know, really you can pick up anybody's dice. Chesics is not, it's considered a supply, but it's not quite 50%. I don't even think it makes 40% margin. It's probably in the mid 30 range to $30 to $40, 30 to 40% range. But yeah, the dice is also a good game. So this fills up your store, gives you a lot of other things to sell, and you can really build a big community. Now, when you have a community, I don't think I've actually gone into this, is that having people in your store is a shot at a sale, right? So when we have the Magic people here, and we used to get 60 people on a Friday night, and it was insane back then. After COVID and all, and it's starting to come back, but it's still under 20, right? So it's about 12 to 18 people come and hang out and play Magic. But still, not only is there a possibility of selling them a Magic card, there's a possibility to sell them a comic. There is Magic comics out there. I don't have a lot of crossover into comics from my Magic users, my Magic players, Magic users. But they do also buy role-playing games, which I also carry. But every time you have somebody in the store, you have a possibility of a sale. If you're running events, you're going to have people in your store, and it's going to help to sell items. So they do collect other things, like Pops is great for every kind of person. So they have Pokemon. They have Pokemon Pops. They have a lot of television that like the Magic community might be interested in. And they also, like a lot of those guys like anime and Batman. And they don't want to read the comics, but they will buy a Pop There's also video games, and pretty much everybody in our community, in the comic book community, in the toy community, and in the Magic community and Pokemon community love video games. And they may not be buying the $350 video game, but they're buying that $5 and $10. So when I say that it's great to go into Magic and have a space that it's really, Magic is very profitable and we do very well with it. Not everybody does. It could just be a lost leader for you. It brings the community into your store, and it allows you to have a chance at selling them something else, which you might have a higher margin in. So this is our episode on Magic. Keep reading comics, and whatever you do, open a comic store.